Welcome to the Take It Home podcast, the podcast so bad we really should just take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc Simmons17. Tonight I am joined by our usual group of good-looking men. I'll give the hot tag to my partner. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. It's Zach Hendricks. Find me on all social media at Z Hendricks Brand. And of course, if you love your mama's favorites, check us out on Country Air Official for Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget, you can travel down to Twitter to see them out of town shooters at Country Air Brand. And I'll pass it off to the senior official.
Hey, what's up, guys? Referee Perch. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the ref brand, and Waffles. Take It Home podcast.
Waffles. Me myself, I have not been in a waffle mood lately. I've been heavy on the pancakes, and they have not disappointed. Went to Parkway Diner around here, got some pancakes on Sunday. The girl was kind enough to wake me up after only 4 hours of sleep, getting back from Mattoon. It's very kind of her to make sure I could go out and get us some breakfast. But had some delicious pancakes. How was it for you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. I hit a diner in my hometown here on Friday to kick off the weekend. Great breakfast sandwich and a pancake on the side. The sourdough bread for a pancake or for a breakfast sandwich is good as it gets. That bread alone is just phenomenal. And uh, and stacked it up with some waffles over the weekend at the hotels. Hotel waffle makers are on point right now. We took a little bit of a break during the world change, but now that we're a couple years since, yeah, waffle makers
Oh,
at
I'm bringing them
hotels
back.
are back in full.
Nice. Ooh, look like Zach kind of fell away,
No
but don't worry.
no caution tape around the waffle makers this time around. We had it
Yeah, that was a
looking
wild
clean on the
time.
way in and clean on the way out.
I do want to take a moment. I didn't get this, but I had planned on getting this. The Quick Trip uh chicken and waffle sandwich, A+. I wanted to get it, but I was running late and I couldn't backtrack to Quick Trip to go get one. I just had to keep going forward. Um, with the hopes that we were going to get Lee's chicken down in Mattoon. That is me and Zach's spot, but unfortunately, they caught on fire and we're closed.
Bro, all right. Saturday was such a long day.
Yes, it
I,
was.
I had like a major headache when I woke up, just like not feeling the best, like just really just feeling crummy. It was Jack's last football game, so like I wanted to make sure I got there. So I woke up. Usually I'm a guy who likes to sleep until like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Had to wake up before 8 to get ready to go to Jack's football game. He killed it. Both games won, but then drove to Mattoon, didn't eat at all. And I'm like, damn, I'm already getting later. I'll get to the show later than I want to be. And I'm like, where's our chicken?
Yep.
Um,
So sad. We had some McHughes, which was solid, but just wasn't what we wanted.
and McHughes was all right, but don't call that a Nashville chicken sandwich, bro.
Yeah, that was weak.
That was a fucking McChicken with some spicy mayo on it.
Yeah. That yeah. That was disappointing.
Yeah, especially when you're across the street, like you're getting like the fucking good chicken.
Mhm.
Also, I'm a man who believes in like if you have good food at two places, I check the fountain drink. I'm a Pepsi over Coke type of guy, so better drink service at least chicken than hires.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing on that front, but I did eventually get some pancakes. Did you get anything good this weekend?
No, uh, I feel like tomorrow I might get something good, but
Do we hope?
that's the hope. Like I'm hoping I get a good breakfast tomorrow, but we'll see.
All right. Well, you know what I'm hoping for? A banger of the week.
Ooh, this week's banger of the week. This one really hit the spot on Sunday. It was the name of the event that we had going on. And when that song played and hit in that ballroom with that sound as loud as it could get, the joint was built for acoustics. So I like to think that it was on a CD that someone put into the boombox, and that CD was the Black Album. Jay-Z, Moment of Clarity. man, when that song was hitting, that place was rocking.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the best songs on the Black album. I had used it for a TikTok, I believe, recently. Can't like Moment of Clarity is great.
Yeah, I was standing up on the balcony looking off of the entire the set of everything. That song was bumping and it just gave goosebumps. I love that song. That whole CD is great. A great era of music. Jay-Z was bumping. One of the first, uh, when getting into rap music, Jay-Z was where I started. I figured, let me go with one of the greats and explore. And yeah, that CD, needless to say, uh, was skipping tracks by the end of it because I played it so much. and and Moment of Clarity is such a good tune. I love it. Good kind of reflection song and make you think about everything that's going on. So I really loved it, and it hit. I was immediately thinking, yeah, this is the banger of the week right here.
Thank you, thank you. Yep, that song's been stuck in my head a lot since they announced that show. Every time it comes up, I start thinking about it. Hell yeah, happy that
with
they went all in.
with that menacing beat to it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's so good.
surprise! It's like somebody's got to use that as an entrance song. Whoever you are, good shit.
The honorable mention was some Afro Man
Oh, can't go
playing
wrong with
it
that
on.
either.
That
Yo,
song bumped in the arena as well.
you wanna know who I believe comes out to that song?
To Afro
Uh,
Man or Moment of Clarity?
the Moment of Clarity. I think G Youngblood. That G
Your
Youngblood.
Allstate agent.
Yeah, bro, that was like the G Youngblood sounds like a person that would come out to that song.
Future gimmick change. Awesome, awesome. Okay, fellas. You know what? We talked a little bit before we got started with Zach. Well, why don't we just get right into it? What have we been watching this week, Zach?
Bro, I'm not gonna like steal Perch's like line, but I watched an absolute banger yesterday, and it wasn't wrestling. I was just telling Doc, everyone knows I love The Simpsons and Simpsons Treehouse of Horror season, and they came out with an absolute phenomenal episode. The new Treehouse of Horror episode. It's if you like Stephen King's It, highly recommend watching it. Make sure you watch the credits because it does have a little bit of a creepy side to it. It's not like it's comedy, but there's some like stuff that you're like, oh damn. Highly recommend. Also watched Halloween Ends. Was not a fan.
I
I'm
can't
pretty much on the
recommend that
board.
one.
I would say if you're debating between theater and Peacock, watch it on Peacock. Like, save yourself the drive home from being angry.
Damn.
Yeah, and I mean, I did watch a little bit of wrestling on the way home from our show. I did put on NXT Halloween Havoc. For those who don't know, I think I've talked about once or twice before. Damon Kemp, me and him were high school like sparring buddies. Like my senior year, he was a freshman. He was like a three-time state champion in high school amateur wrestling. But like my junior and senior year, because he would come over the summer, like his eighth grade year, we would spar together, we would train together. Like he was a phenomenal wrestler, so it's like kind of cool to see him sign to WWE. Watched his match. Uh, expected good amateur wrestling that was there, but some stuff you're like, damn, like slamming the ambulance door on the fingers and stuff.
Mm.
Good storytelling. The whole thing. Only match I didn't watch was Braun Breaker's match. I like that Freelance got a little shout out during the Cora Jade's match. Booker T was like, she comes from I believe the Freelance Academy, so it's kind of cool. I'm like, oh, good that Freelance is on that WWE radar. I mean, like, I'm not no surprise. Like they have the reputation for it, but it was just definitely cool to see the acknowledgement.
I mean, I think that's interesting. It comes from Booker T because if somebody made a post right now or a few days ago, like reality of wrestling has provided like half of that roster.
That's very very true. I mean, I would be surprised if we see a little bit of Fly Death one day.
Mm-hmm.
But
My Death, Mysterious Q, Brian Keith.
oh, dude, Brian Keefe that'd be a fucking pop.
Yeah.
I
The only
think
thing
Fly
is, I
Death.
don't. I would kind of rather have Brian Keith on AEW because I know Tony Khan will put up that money for still tipping.
Very true. Dude, But the best part about the whole pay per view is like they have this whole thing where Mandy Rhodes has to go after Abigail Fire, and like
Mhm.
Abigail's like cuts that promo. She's like, if you're meet me at this haunted house tomorrow. So like they're going to the haunted house to go meet her and all this stuff, and they're walking through the woods, and like the one girl, not Gigi Dolan, the other one, she's all scared. Gigi Dolan's like, I love Halloween. This is awesome. And like people like they decide to split up, which homegirls like, you never split up.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, yeah, we're splitting. They're like, oh, we're splitting up, being idiot heels. And this guy pops out to try to scare Mandy Rhodes. And she kicks him in the nuts and says, put some spec on my name. Like, like no reason. Just kicks him in the balls and yells, put some spec on my name.
Hell yeah. Yeah, if you
I
ever
was,
wanted to know that saying was dead.
dude, I laughed so hard because it was just, I did not expect that at all. I'm like, oh, that was so funny. Best part of the pay per view. No, not just kidding. The pay per view was really good. Like the opener, the 6-man ladder, no, the 5-man ladder match.
Mhm.
Wesley taking crazy bumps, dude.
Yeah, I did see a couple of those.
That was great. Cora Jade versus Roxanne was really good. Uh, yeah, it was a good storytelling there, like with the being the best friends. The women's title match was all right. It was what it was. Like they had the cinematic stuff, which was comedy, but not much to do in the ring. And
Mhm.
then I'm trying to think if there's another match. Oh, Apollo Crews and what Grayson.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, Grayson Waller. That was cool. Only problem I had was the casket when they opened it up. You saw the black pad.
Uh,
Like it was clearly a mat. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they had everything else lined up with like red velvet, like looking like the coffin.
Hmm.
And they like you could clear as day see like the mat, the pad. And like I get it, people know like there's probably padding in there,
Yeah, but you'd
but
rather a better camera angle that doesn't show that.
bro, there was no angle that wouldn't show it though. Like it was the full bottom of it,
Oh, damn.
like where he lays down in. Like
Oh. Eh,
I mean, it is what it is. Just that small thing that I like to see that covers it up.
yeah,
But
that's fair.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I watched NXT, not much other wrestling, but yeah, can't put over enough the new Simpsons episode. I won't spoil it, but can't put it up. Putting it over nonstop.
Awesome.
Need that Funko. Need that Funko.
Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye out for it. Perch, what did you watch?
Yeah, watched a lot of live wrestling this weekend. One of the best matchups that I saw was Logan Square Auditorium in Chicago for freelance. Bounty Hunter Brian Keith defending his title against Effie. Talk about two great presences inside that arena. Um, didn't know what way it was going to go, who was going to win. Crowd was firmly behind Effie. They were firmly behind Keith. Just back and forth, a hell of a drop dead drag out kind of fight. And by the end, Bounty Hunter Keith hits a Soul Fire Bomb on Effie and retains the title. Um, that was a roller coaster, just an emotionally thrilling, action packed, intense match. Really, really enjoyed it. That was that match that really stuck out over the weekend. Was looking forward to it, and yeah, really enjoyed. Also caught some Vincent Price action in the way of horror movies and Halloween themes. That Haunted Palace movie went back and watched again. Uh, as good as it gets. The themes, the acting, the pure acting of it all is just what really draws me in. Amazing actors from 1963. This was. I like those long drawn out scenes where they just physically act and deliver the lines to the best of their ability. It's really inspiring for performance in any kind of an art that we're in. Um, it was good story and brewing up some demons. And at one point, they break out the old book, the Necronomicon, one of my favorite horror movie elements of all time. And this was the first time it ever came out on TV. I found out on a movie. So from the Evil Dead lore and the Army of Darkness, seeing the origin of the infamous book. It was just a cherry on top of this amazing movie, The Haunted Palace. Straight out of a Scooby Doo kind of style and classic old horror movie elements. Definitely on the top of my list for movies this year, let alone old school classics that I love watching. Vincent Price, one of my favorite actors of all
No, yeah. Love them in Scooby Doo.
time. So good, so committed to the bit every time. Steals the scene when he's on there, even when he's not talking, just to watch his physical movements. It's incredible.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, love some Vincent Price. As for me, I watched a little bit of the AEW Dark that was on over the weekend. Actually, they had a special show. Arya Davari on there being the money having snake that he is. Hook being awesome. Orange Cassidy freshly off winning that All Atlantic title in a solid trails match against some people we've shared locker rooms with, and Kobe Durst was also a very good one. Uh, and I know I watched Dynamite last week, but I can't remember what was on it because I am old and and my brain is gone. But as far as non-wrestling things I watched, I do want to talk about this new anime that is out called Blue Lock, which is basically, if you've seen Squid Game, it is Squid Game but with soccer. And it is the most ridiculous and most anime thing possible, and I love it. Makes absolutely no sense, but it's fucking great. um I just realized I just popped on some IWTV. Gonna watch that freelance show that I know one of us was at. Heard there was a crazy tag match for the finish, so definitely going to watch that. Speaking of tags, I did watch a little bit of Bang Bros versus our homies the Caribbeans. You know, gotta keep an eye on those guys. No telling when we're gonna pop up and start challenging them for what they got. But pretty light week as far as watching stuff. Mostly just home taking care of business. Um, that's it. So why don't we get into what we did this weekend? Perch, you put the most miles out. Why don't you start?
Yeah, this was a fun weekend. Given the world tour that's been going on over the past month or so, it was awesome to catch back up on a Midwest part of the world. Get back in touch with our roots. The Midwest region of the United States, absolutely love it. We had a little Chicago, Detroit, Columbus, starting things off Friday night in downtown Chicago for freelance wrestling. Awesome show, awesome Halloween theme. The house was looking great. Um, to kick things off with the first match for me, which was Alfonso against Kylie Ray in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. Talked about it before. 2 out of 3 falls is one of my favorite stipulations. You can do a lot of good storytelling around there, especially when you have a good guy and a bad guy. Um, yeah, and this was no different. A great story being told the entire time. They both caught a fall at the same time. Both shoulders were down, so it was one apiece pretty quick. Kylie Ray came out victorious. Great feud that's been going on. Some differences that had to be settled. Um,
Well, she quit the Alfonso dojo. Um, I definitely will be taking notes.
Hey, don't give up on what you don't know anything about.
We'll see. Um,
the next match I had was awesome to catch Shaza McKenzie on her world tour she's got going on right now. First time I've seen her in a while, so anytime she's in the States, it's a blessing to be a part of her match, let alone just to interact with her and pick her brain a little bit. Very good pro wrestler, very cool person. She took on Pat Monix, um, and Monix with the uh, well James Russo on the outside as a manager, dressed as kind of Buddy Love a little bit, or yeah, it was definitely kind of a Mario looking setup. It caught my eye. I could not help but think of Mario every time I saw it. It was awesome. Being player two my entire life as Luigi, I recognize when I see a Mario. Yeah, that was good. Monix ends up winning that match. Um, Back and forth, great all around, good emotional storytelling in there. And then the main event of the evening, as Doc mentioned, this one got some good hype, good buzz, because it was a banger of a match for real. Two top tag teams really going at it. Bang Bros having the opportunity to main event freelance wrestling against Young, Dumb, and Broke, Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver. It was one heck of a match. Going back to our early days of helping out, set up the ring and tear down at Logan Square Auditorium and freelance wrestling years ago. Guys like Davey Bang and August Matthews right there with us in the trenches as students and, working hard, doing all the jobs we can to one day earn an opportunity on the show and work our way up from, being given an opportunity on an early match to, an actual story all the way to see them and be a part of a main event. It was definitely a sold out arena. That place was packed wall to wall. People were still coming in, even into the first, second match. There was a steady stream of people the entire time. So that the place was going wild by the time that main event came around. Um, Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver, two just built young, you know, pro wrestlers,
Super
students of the
athletes.
yeah, students of the game at all levels. They put on a good performance every time. For any fan who's paying money, to see a show or to to get in with a ticket, you are definitely getting your money's worth with these guys. Uh, and in this instance, all four of these gentlemen, Davey, August, Nick, and Jordan, they put on a classic tag team match with a modern style of pro wrestling, um, which is also studied and you know crafted in a particular way. Uh, High flying, hard hitting, and pro wrestling all around was a great match. The Bang Bros came in the champions that night. And by the end of it, they walked out the champions. Double 450 splash, unbelievable. Uh, Great match all around. Um,
Yeah, the greatest of tag teams will fall victim to that double 450.
yeah, yep,
But not if you miss one.
That's the key.
yeah. So a fun match, great all around. Awesome to be a part of it as a student of pro wrestling myself, as we all are right here. Um, it's great to be there with fellow students, uh, like-minded individuals trying to achieve similar goals and to push each other to the next level. Everybody in that match was pushing one another to the next level. Um, Definitely worth checking out on IWTV. It was a good match all around. The ears were ringing afterwards. The place was loud. Um, then after freelance on Friday, we went over to Harpo's nightclub in Detroit, one of my favorite venues in the country. Always a great vibe inside Detroit. The fans there are super nice, and they love pro wrestling. Give them some good hard hitting, blood and and blood and guts, a little bit of everything, weapons and technical wrestling. Was awesome. GCW had a great show. GCW Drop Dead. Um, on Saturday in Detroit. Great time. First match of the night that I had was a four-way match between Gringo Loco, ASF, Commander, and Nick Wayne. Those guys really brought it that night. Four individual stylistic pro wrestlers and luchadors. Each one of them, hit something that I had never seen before, and had that Harpo's crowd just going nuts. That venue is home to legendary rock bands, the '70s and '80s, all the way to now. Lots of great history at the venue. To see a match put on like this with four stars, cool to hear that reaction that the place gives, because it's unlike a lot of stuff that venue's seen before. Venue's seen a lot of rock and roll and a lot of music, a lot of shows, but to deliver some of the highest paced lucha, uh, pro wrestling that you can get is such an awesome variety and something to seek out. And the main event of the evening I had was another main event for the Tag Team Championships, this time for the GCW World Tag Team Championships, held by Alex Colon and John Wayne Murdoch of ICW Insane 8 lore.
Mhm.
They took on the team of Ciclope and Miedo and SGC, Mance Warner and Matthew Justice. The three teams went in a doors, ladders, and chairs match. Chaos from the beginning. Just probably 15, 20 minutes of tearing the house down. They used everything in sight. There was some panes of glass, some barbed wire, some, of course, doors, ladders, and chairs. Just a little bit of everything. That place was pure chaos, and the crowd was loving every second of it. By the end of it, Ciclope and Miedo ended up coming out with the victory, and we have a new set of tag team champions at GCW.
Ooh.
That was awesome. From the referee standpoint, we got to try out a new pair of knee pads, some new glasses, and some arm sleeves as well. Went with the Japanese influx here with some hard knee pads, some solid ones. Preserve the pants a little bit, which is nice, and able to go in with no fear into those counts and get down for some close calls. So tried it new and coming to ever evolving professional wrestling and deathmatch gear from the referee standpoint. It's always trial and error, and we're figuring out what works best. Trend setting in the art of deathmatch wrestling. And then after Harpo's in Detroit, headed out to Columbus, Ohio at the Valleydale Ballroom. Now, this venue's been around for about 100 years. Every band from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way till now has played there. Taking pictures of the legendary venue. There were names up on the walls that I've, seen CDs in my grandparents' collection. Just knowing that, like the pioneers of rock and roll and big band and orchestra, as well as every style of music, has come through that venue. So much good history. You can feel it and you can see it too. The venue was incredible. The stage was set up like an old Dean Martin celebrity roast, carpeted with some plants and ferns. Uh, it was such a throwback vibe. Big disco ball. Incredible venue. So much character to it. That was GCW Moment of Clarity. The first match I had on that show was the team of Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver against Alex Colon and John Wayne Murdoch. such a great clash of styles in that match. To go from a Young, Dumb, and Broke against Bang Bros on Friday night, high paced, high flying, non-stop, edge your seat action, to see them in a match with Cologne and Murdoch, who are just some gritty, hard hitting, slow the pace down, uh, incorporate some doors and chairs in there like they did from the night before. Such a great clash of styles. If you watch that match at Freelance from Friday night, I highly recommend to follow it up with the match from Sunday on GCW. Goes to show that Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver uh, can do it against anybody, but the ability to work the crowd in this match was what stood out above all. I had really had the crowd into it the entire time. Two teams and a good clash of styles, hard hitting, intense, great match all around. Really enjoyed it. The next match I had was very fun. Some international talent with Yamato. Getting to work with him this weekend as well as the previous in Chicago. Very cool to work with him. He took on Blake Christian in this match. Very good sporting contest right here. Just a solid pro wrestling match, start to finish. Yamato comes through with that Frankensteiner and a legitimate pay homage to the original Frankensteiner, and catches it out of nowhere. Just awesome. Very fun match. Very fun shows the entire weekend. Catch the Freelance show on IWTV and the two GCW shows on Fight TV. Great Midwest tour. Very fun all around.
Hell yeah, brother. Sounds like it was awesome. Yeah, I've definitely been watching a lot more of the Jordan Oliver, Nick Wade. They are definitely making a bit of noise, trying to say that they're the best tag team out. So definitely been watching them. Um,
I definitely, if I was to guess though, if we don't get the title defense at the Picton Lounge when GCW visits, then I think Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver will be the next tag team champions to win those next tag team to win those tag belts.
yeah.
Of course, if we don't get they
Yeah,
don't
we
wrestle
don't
once
get
a
the shot
year.
first, obviously.
Yeah, I mean we get the shot, we shoot to kill. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. But let's talk about our weekend. I can start with my Friday. Um, Not wrestling, but Friday I drove up to Green Bay to visit a haunted house. Green Bay Fear. The homie Skits has been known to work there. It was an awesome time. A little shorter than some other ones I've been to. I would have to say the best part of it was like the first house, how they played with the lights and fog. Like the first like room you went into, or like the first, I guess I would call it hallway. Like imagine a 90s bad boy video, like those type of hallways, but just full of red lights. And had little monster in front of me, and then he was all, watch this, and he like had to be on like Heelys or something because he like slid back and just disappeared into the lights right in front of my face. It was awesome.
That's all. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. I thought it was interesting. They definitely play with their lights a lot, not in the way that the place we went to uh last year we went to, it was like Horror Acres, I believe was the name of the place. Um, Whereas they played a lot with the darkness and like things moving that you didn't expect to move. They didn't do that as much here, but they definitely played with the lights well. And then Saturday, brother.
Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As I touched base, Jack had a football game. He plays eighth grade and seventh grade. Eighth grade won, I believe, 18-6. So that was a big win. And then the seventh grade team won like 35 to maybe 18, but definitely destroyed it. Their game plan, they have that seventh grade team has this kid who's just a star, number 24. The game plan is like, all right, we're fucked. Fourth and 30. Pass it. hike it to 24. 24 just takes off and gets a touchdown. Like they experiment the first 3 downs, and then like fourth down, they're like, all right, 24, do your thing.
Try to make it a team effort.
Yeah, that kid's a team, and then like plays both sides, and like the team made a great pass, and he just with ease jumps in, intercepts it, and gets a touchdown. He's like, this kid's going places. So they won. Jack sacked the quarterback a few times, laid the smackdown. But then after that, right after the game, had to jump on the road, meet up Doc because we had a tag title defense.
Yes, we did. It was scheduled to be Yo Mama's favorite tag team, those out of town shooters, defending their 0-1 USA Tag Team Championships against the
Ooh.
Crowleys.
Yes, sir. And right before that bell rang, right while we were doing my favorite thing, old school introduction, uh, we heard a very familiar song.
We did hear a familiar song.
We heard two familiar jackasses quoting the words "Premiere up, Premiere in 4."
Yeah. So the Premier made their inglorious return to 0-1 and inserted themselves into the tag team championship match.
How did it work out for them though?
Oh, not good. Not good. The Crowleys did get the jump on us to start, but that's not enough to take out the shooters. You know, we fought back hard. Premier tried to wait for their spot to jump in and take advantage of the situations, but after like 6 months of wrestling, you guys, we're getting hip to your tricks.
Yes, sir. They tried to get the jump, tried to pull us out after everybody. So went for their own thing. Backfired when you get a little too cocky. They should have made a pin. Get a super kick in the face, no problem. We're still the 0-1 USA Tag Team Champions.
Oh, those weren't
You
super
know,
kicks to the face. Those were super kicks to the back of the head. Let's call it as it is.
that's very true.
We went for execution style. We went for the kill.
Yes, sir.
But
Shoot the
yes,
kill.
more importantly, we are still the 0-1 tag team champions.
Also, the Premier needs to change that Premier of 4. Like match 1, yeah, they won Nebraska. Match 2, when we wrestled them head on, we beat them by a pin. Match 3, we won by DQ. And match 4, we beat them for the belt. So, I mean, Premier of 4, unless you're just acknowledging that Country Air embarrassed them 4 different times.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's what Premiere 4 means. I never got it, but now it makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it. They acknowledge our greatness. And thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's move on to the topic for tonight. I posed a question to the fellas. What wrestler or incident, or really anything that you want, would you like to see a Tales of the Ring, Tales of the Territories, or AEW biography type story? Zach, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think two of the probably the biggest popular ones, and this is like an easy answer, but I don't care because I'm pretty sure we all want to see it. Dark Side of the Ring versions of the Vince McMahon sex scandal,
No,
like
I
this whole
totally didn't even think about that. Not gonna lie.
the payout, just like all the talent getting released. Like obviously, like you see, like I mean, I'm not gonna make my speculations, but a lot of talent got released, and now like with Vince gone, like a lot of that talent's coming back. There's got to be a reason for those releases. So just I don't really know all the reports, but I would be very intrigued to hear about all these reports that suddenly Vince McMahon retired. There's got to be a story for the dark side on that.
Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
I don't know why I didn't think about it.
yeah, and then the other obvious one is probably with like how everything's shaping up and like AEW's a newer company. Like the backstage brawl is probably got to be a very interesting one to hear about one day in the future on the dark side of the ring.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally buy that. Yeah, this would probably. Would you think this is their like first Dark Side of the Ring worthy incident?
I would say so. I feel like everything else, like the MJF leaving, not being happy, stuff like that. I feel like some of that stuff's like jazzed up, but I feel like this was one that, like, for example, Val was like on her work laptop. She doesn't use it for like anything else but work. And when she popped up like Google Chrome, when she popped that up, how they pop up news stories, they had like AEW like backstage brawl with CM Punk world champion, like had that on like news sites that like, and like I get it on your phone because we all look up wrestling, but that was on her work laptop. It was popping up on like that stuff. So
Mm,
it made like a little bit of bigger headlines than just like wrestling dirt sheets.
okay. No, yeah. AEW, for better or worse, has actually been pretty good about being more than just in the wrestling dirt sheets. A lot of my friends who don't watch wrestling ask me about stuff that goes on in AEW. So it's been very interesting. I'm gonna go down the line. Perch.
Yeah, this one caught my ear because we were telling stories throughout the car rides, um, hearing stories of independent territories and shady promoters throughout the history, uh, the reasons that we're taught lessons because people before us had to experience them, such as shady promoters coming around and making shows and paying people with false checks and checks that spell the state of Wisconsin wrong on
Not even
printer
with
paper.
before T-Pain turned it into Wisconsin.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So tons of stories of independent promotions and shady promoters who have since gotten busted and make it to jail, but long track records of running shows and hearing um, different indie stylings and stories being taught. But one of them in particular caught my ear because of the town that I'll never forget, because one homie comes from there, Woodbridge, Virginia, in the late '90s.
Hmm.
ECW was running shows around the area, and this was
Wait,
like a
which
Sunday.
company? I'm sorry.
ECW was running shows that weekend, and then allowed their talent to work this independent show on a Sunday in Woodbridge, Virginia. Um, as it turned out, it was going to be a Sabu against Rob Van Dam. Lots of guys on the card, but uh, in the lore of the Dark Side of the Ring and the previous aforementioned shady promoters, it turns out that the promoter no showed the show, did not have any money to pay any of the guys, so they had a crowd and an audience. I think the first match went on and they performed, but by that time they realized that the guy didn't have anything and they couldn't pay the talent. So they were left with, what are we going to do here? We have fans who have, paid their money to get in and to watch. However, we're you know, there's got to be a line here somewhere. If we're not getting anything in return, we can't give our bodies and everything. So what ensued was uh, a little bit of comedy wrestling, a little bit of reenactments of some great, Hulk Hogan and Warrior style matches between some of the guys. I think some sing-alongs with the crowd took place. At one point, they were passing around like a hat, bringing a $1 ask a question, and holding an open mic inside the ring. Um, from how I was told, the wrestlers, the ECW guys, the performers were straight up with the crowd and let them know the situation, and the crowd was very forgiving, and they were able to kind of mutually have a very entertaining and memorable night, to say the least. But yeah, the darkness to it, the light sidedness to it, just the overall story of the way those moments happened throughout the late '90s and well before and even since. But yeah, I would love to see a little documentary on
So, did
the
he
Wood
specifically say it happened in Woodbridge, Virginia, not Northern Virginia, Woodbridge, Virginia?
Woodbridge, Virginia incident.
I know where it was.
So it definitely caught my eye, and I couldn't wait to tell Doc Simmons. Um,
I
and
know
yeah,
where it was.
Is it something you
it's
can find on
coincidental that you brought up the topic for this week because I certainly had one that I could not wait to let you know about. And And want to know more? I want to see a little documentary on
Oh, oh man. So,
it. Probably 97, 98 era, right in that range.
ooh.
99.
So, oh God, it would. So here's the thing: there's only one place in Woodbridge, Virginia, that had independent wrestling. When I first moved there, I trained at this. I was a boxer when I was younger, and I trained at this place called Secrets, and they would hold boxing matches, but every once in a while they would have wrestling shows, and that was the only indie show there. So I am very, very interested in this because this was probably at Secrets. And that building still stands. If we ever go to Woodbridge, I'll show you where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a little deep dive ourselves and
Yeah,
figure this
yeah.
one out.
Like that, it does sound loosely familiar now that you bring it up. A wrestling
I
show
think
going
it
wrong.
may have burnt some bridges out there in Woodbridge
Yeah, I do
with the pro
remember
wrestling
something
for a
about a
while.
show going wrong. Um, yeah, wow. Who would have known? Sadly, I only went to like one of those shows, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I know where that is. There's only one place in Woodbridge.
Yeah, and that one just stands out as one of the many shady promoter deals that takes money but doesn't give it back.
Yeah, because I'm
And
pretty sure the owners of the place had problems with them too. I do remember that being a thing. Um, yeah, wow, crazy. I have to ask Dad if my dad might remember that.
I'd be intrigued to hear more.
Is
Yeah.
there a way we can find this on YouTube? Is there a,
I don't know if they were recording back then. That was still heavy era videotapes.
Mhm.
I might have like one of my boxing matches from back in that time period. Like
back in my day?
yeah, like that's like I mean it could be, but I specifically I do not remember cameras being set up in that place. So or at least the show I went to, I don't remember cameras being set up or anybody having a camera. But very interesting. Yes. Secrets. That is more than likely where it was if it was in Woodbridge. Only one place, right off of Route 1. Wow. Crazy. All right. Unfortunately, mine does my answer does not hit home as much as Purchase. But for me personally, I, I would want to see two actually of the biography series that they've put out. I'm sure we're going to get, if we haven't already, and I just haven't seen it. There's got to be a Rey Mysterio one. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who popularized lucha libre, in America, who's been doing it since he was probably single digits, like just to get the history and his story of coming up in Mexico, coming to WCW, ECW, WWE, losing his knees, losing his family and Eddie Guerrero, leaving Lucha Underground, coming back, buff as shit, putting Dominic through the paces. I just think there's like those are like movie length, but I think his would be like Lord of the Rings series length. That's got to be somebody where when you peel back his biography, there's just got to be so many layers. And then for me personally, another biography I'd love to see is Shane Helms, the Hurricane, my favorite wrestler. I think he is very underrated. And when you look through the gimmick changes that he's had through the years from 3MB to a singles run or 3 count, I'm sorry, not 3MB, 3 count to a singles run in WCW, the transfer to WWE, the becoming the Hurricane character. betting on himself and going to Mr. McMahon and saying, "Hey, I know I'm a top brand seller as a Hurricane, but I can see that I'm going to stop making you money down the line. So let me go heel." Um, Go into his producer roles, his involvement with Total Deletion. And now that Zach kind of brought it up, but he is also one of those uh pandemic hires and fires and the Vince era itself. And when you hear a lot of people talk about Vince, I think he's always had a very unique perspective. He's never I feel like a lot of people paint Vince as a super villain or a superhero, and he kind of just paints him as a regular guy, and I really enjoy that. But yeah, that would have to be my two. All right.
My third would be the rise and fall of Maverick Boone.
That would be a good one. We'd have to do a couple shots, especially of that cage match with him and Stacy.
A couple of those, his first 3 count photo where he comes out in Zawa, not realizing he's supposed to be lovable and has no idea what music's playing. He just goes down to the guard and makes a prayer. The moment he grew his ponytail, that's like its own little section. That shitty little ponytail he used to do.
His hair would be its own show.
The stages of hair, the somewhat long Maverick Boone. When he dropped the Boone, he got the little pigtail. When he dropped the Rick, he got the purple hair.
Yep.
As Mav's name shortened up, his hair changed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, if we're gonna do people around here, Carmine. Love one on Carmine. Carmine's seen everything. So that would probably be a good one too.
I mean, I think one that's kind of interesting would be then Dysfunction. Like,
yeah, that would be that was literally like the next name out of my mouth.
Yeah, Dysfunction, like a life of dysfunction. I mean, I wouldn't be a part of it, but like you definitely like get the like things with Val, like Silas, Bobby Valentino, like his GCW days, his JCW days, his Juggalo days, like
His IWA Mid South days, which I'm sure anybody's section of their life is super interesting.
oh, bro, IWA Mid South is gonna have its own dark side, I bet.
Yeah, that'll probably have one.
Like now that you said that, like thinking about all that popular news and like everything that happened with it, and like because it's Ian Rotten and he's a former ECW guy, like I definitely think that might be one on the dark side.
Yeah, if they ever touch like, yeah, I guess modern day independence.
Yeah, I mean they talked about that one PCW Ultra or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that one, no, the one that's about the sex one.
Oh yeah, not PCW, fucking yeah.
XPW or something. I don't know.
XPW, yeah.
Yeah, so like I mean they definitely touch on the indies, so like I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that could be good. All right. Why don't we talk about what we got coming up this week? Don't know about y'all, but it's a pretty light week for me. I'll go ahead and get started. Friday, at Turner Ballroom. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
want to say
Turner.
Tanner Paul Hall? It's not Tanner Paul Hall. That's ICW.
Yeah.
I know what happened. I see what happened. You're about to say Tanner Paul
Oh
Hall.
yeah. At Turner this Friday, Mondo Lucha. It will be a rare time for me without Zach. It'll be the return of Team Turbo, and we will be defending our Mondo Lucha tag titles. I'm sure. I know it was supposed to be against Darren Corbin and Red Goldstein, but I'm pretty sure Darren Corbin recently posted that he was hurt. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. All I know is it's time for a Turbo Team turn up, and me and Jared Jacks will still be your champions. The rest of the weekend, I've got some friends from back home coming to visit from good old Woodbridge, Virginia. Um, sadly, I don't think any of them would know this story, so I can't ask any of them. But it will be a good time just chilling with the bros. Zach, what do you have this weekend?
Well, this weekend I'm about to put on my red gold stain costume. It would be so. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't doing that. I ain't got no wrestling this weekend. Mondo is coming up Friday. I suggest go checking it out. I highly doubt I'll be there, but definitely don't. If you have a ticket sold out, so I guess you can't really promote the place. Don't really think we can sell any more tickets for the place.
Yeah, but if you're going, I'll see you there.
Yeah, if you're going, check it out. As much as I despise it, hopefully Doc will retain the tag belts with Jared. But if you lose the tag belts, maybe it was because Jared Jackson's not a guy you could trust, and you can bring in someone better.
He is the lost third member of Country Air.
The Swagnificent Country Air, yeah.
Yeah.
Swagnificently Turbo, no Country Turbo Air. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Name's coming soon, but yeah. Yep. No. Other than that, Saturday, my cousin's having a costume party. Gonna go down there, have a little fun there. Then Sunday, it's a Halloween trick or treating for our area. I say all the time, Halloween is Val's mom's Christmas, so it is a requirement to be there. So I will be there, dressed up as a Treehouse of Horror character.
All right. And Perch, what do you got this weekend?
This weekend, right back on the Midwest tour. Got a little Chicago, Milwaukee, Indiana. Kicking things off on Thursday night. Second wrestling in Chicago, Illinois. Going to be my first time ever for second wrestling. Should be a good time. Great people all around. A fun card. And really looking forward to meeting the fans and everybody alike and celebrating pro wrestling. Thursday night in Chicago. Second wrestling. Then we're right back up to home turf, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Be joining Doc Simmons for Mondo Lucha at the Turner Hall Ballroom. Legendary Turner Hall Ballroom. Watched my first ever Ring of Honor shows there. Yeah, great place. Very nostalgic. Such a fun time when Mondo Lucha takes place. One of the most fun shows of the year, and it happens to be home at Milwaukee. So that'll be a fun time on Friday night. Fun to see how everybody there dresses up. It's like a Monty Hall and Let's Make a Deal. Everyone's going to be dressed in costumes and just wild excitement, start to finish. Incredible matchups on the card, as well as dancing and bands and music. And yeah, it's going to be a wild bash. Looking forward to a little after party at the Vanguard. Man, jalapeno cheddar brat with cheese curds on top. Not officially, but in my book, labeled as the Perch. Definitely get down on one of those for sure in a little after party action. Never forget the time walking into that Vanguard and getting booed out of the building.
Wait, you got booed out?
Got booed out of the building.
Oh,
My
damn.
first ever Mondo Lucha show. We didn't make many friends that night, and the crowd was anti-ref Perch. So I walked in the door, expecting to sit down to a nice meal, and that place booed me out of there. It was a fun dynamic.
Nice,
and
nice.
and
The thing,
and
I rarely get to make the Vanguard after parties for one reason or another, but the plan is to be there at least for a little bit this week.
My prediction is as much as I hate to see it, because I'd like to do it with you, Doc's gonna be walking out that brand new silver jacket.
We shall see.
I believe in you.
It is the most it is the most coveted item in wrestling.
Especially like the Milwaukee territory. I feel like the silver jacket and like the Funkos that the fans made,
Yeah.
those like always like the cool things that people do. Like that's that cool. That's pretty good. There's a
Yeah.
lot of dope things, but those are the cool ones. But I don't know, man. You're the longest reigning Mondo Lucha Tag Champion.
I guess.
I mean, you guys haven't lost a defense yet.
No, we haven't. We have
Yeah, like
defended them.
exactly. So you haven't lost it yet.
But yeah, I guess.
Longest,
Um,
never lost the title defense. Longest reigning Mondo Lucha Tag Champs. Like,
Yeah, we have not lost the title defense. Like, let's not look at how many defenses there were, but we haven't lost one. Um,
and then Sunday night, heading down to the Kentucky-Indiana border, is good old Mouse photographer putting on a show, Fright Night 4. Really looking forward to this show, getting down there, another region of the country, another part of the Midwest in the southern Midwest. Really excited to plug in and go there for my first time. It was back in Evansville, Indiana, um, earlier in the year. It'll be fun to go down to New Albany, Indiana this time around. I think there'll be some music and some wrestling as well. Should be a fun time overall. Lots of fun people. So a little Chicago for second wrestling, Milwaukee for Mondo Lucha, and Indiana for Fright Night 4.
oh yeah, I did see pictures from Fright Night 3, I believe, last year. It looked like a good time. A good show. I believe it was last year. Might have been 2 years ago. Can't remember. Pandemic years all merge into one. All right, and with that, probably about time we start taking it home. Perch, any final thoughts or questions?
Yeah, professional wrestling is an art form and a language all of its own. Let's celebrate pro wrestling together.
Yes, yes. Zach, final thoughts or questions?
hell yeah. We're going to go check out a cool bar tomorrow. I forgot to say that's what my upcoming week because
Oh
my
yeah, that is
weekend.
in our upcoming week. Yep.
Yeah, Doc and I and Perch, if you're free, I know you're a busy man with your work schedule, but Doc and I are checking out Replay Bar tomorrow. They have a bunch of Simpsons Treehouse of Horror stuff there, themed drinks and all that, free arcade. So it's in Chicago. Matt and Nick's posted about. So yeah, Doc and I are going to be going there with our ladies tomorrow to check it out.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Be a good time. And for me, as always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on all the social medias, tell promotions to book us so we can tell you how much we like the Treehouse of Horrors. It'll be
Plus,
a wonderful conversation.
100th episode coming up.
Yes, 100th episode coming up. Be sure to let us know what you want to see on it. Let's see, this is episode 97. So yeah, about 3 more weeks. I gotta go ahead and put the message in to set aside that time for us to do the special things. But yeah, be sure to let us know what you want to see. And with that, this has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. 1.